6.2 Exacerbation of contradictions in the global capitalist market. Defeat of fascism. The Second World War resulted in the defeat of fascist Germany and imperialist Japan, the two most militaristic and aggressive states. Rise of the USA and England. After the war, the USA and England emerged as the main centers of state monopoly capitalism. U.S. economic strength. The USA significantly strengthened economically and militarily during the war, with its share of industrial production rising from 45% in 1937 to 58% in 1948 among capitalist countries. U.S. dominance. American monopolies not only controlled the U.S. state apparatus but also aimed to dominate the state apparatus of other countries. Theories of American imperialism. Post-war theories emerged that viewed the American imperialist state as a force for global harmony, denying the uneven development of capitalist countries. Uneven development. The law of uneven economic and political development intensified, with the U.S. becoming the strongest capitalist country. Struggle for markets. Post-war, the U.S. faced little competition as Germany and Japan were out of action, allowing it to secure foreign market positions. U.S. export growth. U.S. exports grew during the war, peaking in 1944, but fell in 1946 post-war. The U.S. then implemented the Truman Doctrine and the Marshall Plan to expand its markets. Marshall Plan impact. The Marshall Plan required European countries to buy American goods, benefiting U.S. monopolies through state-guaranteed exports. Increased U.S. exports. The U.S. increased its share in global exports, becoming the leading exporter of cotton fabrics and ferrous metals post-war. Challenges post. 1948. By 1948, increased competition from European and Asian countries complicated the U.S.'s position in foreign markets. Export struggles. Despite efforts like the Marshall Plan, U.S. exports declined by 1950, and its share in capitalist world exports fell. Trade imbalance. The U.S. experienced a systematic export surplus, creating a dollar shortage in other countries, which was managed through gold extraction and loans. European recovery. European countries, despite U.S. opposition, increased their exports and regained pre-war trade levels by 1953. France's colonial struggle. France fought against U.S. influence in its colonies, restoring its share of imports post-war. Industrial growth in defeated nations. West Germany and Japan outpaced other capitalist countries in post-war industrial growth. Industrial production growth. 1948 to 1953 West Germany and Japan increased industrial production by 2.5 times. England, France, and the USA saw increases between 21% to 29%. In 1953, Japan's industrial production was 23.5% above 1937 levels. Italy and West Germany were 57.8% above their pre-war levels. Export expansion. 1947 to 1953 West Germany's exports increased by more than 13.4 times. Japan's exports grew 7.3 times. West Germany's share of global capitalist exports rose from 0.71% to 6.01%. Japan's share increased from 0.37% to 1.73%. Market presence. West Germany became the third largest exporter, behind England and ahead of France. German exports were significant in Latin America, Africa, the Middle East, displacing British and American goods. Japan led in the export of cotton fabrics, surpassing the USA and England. Competition and economic struggles. U.S. foreign trade difficulties were exacerbated by policies discriminating against the USSR and socialist countries. Post-war competition intensified, with American monopolies challenging underdeveloped countries' export markets. Capital export shifts. 1938 to 1951 pre-war, England was the leading exporter of capital. Post-war, the USA took the lead. British investments decreased by 44% by 1951. U.S. investments tripled. Economic policies and investments. U.S. public investments aim to prepare foreign markets for private American capital, often at the expense of the state budget. American state-controlled institutions like the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development were established to facilitate these investments. Post-war contradictions. Increased competition for raw materials, oil, rubber, uranium, among capitalist countries. Main contradictions arose between the USA and England, but also between the USA and other major capitalist nations. Attempts to unify capitalist countries against the communist danger were seen as a strategy for U.S. dominance. Potential for conflict. The growth of state monopoly capitalism in the USA and other nations intensified inter-imperialist contradictions. As long as imperialism exists, the potential for inter-imperialist wars remains.